Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, 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 black music, black music, black music, black music, black music, black music.
Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Officer Boaz with Anointed House of Saints. Doing no, we missed last week. Last week's Friday class is being done today. You know what I'm saying? I'm on here with the brother Chaziah, you know.
What's going on? Shalom 2 times.
Yeah, Shalom. It's Mr. Shalom 2 times, right? Mr. Shalom 2 times. You feel me? Bear with the brother, you know what I'm saying? Recently had a little dental work done and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
bear with the brother, you know, he regaining his strength back and everything, right? So again, for today we going into this is the continuous. So this is the part 2 for why teach financial literacy, keep it simple, stupid, or keep it short and simple, right? I know we covered some things before. I had posted, if you're a part of the AHOS congregation chat, I had posted a break-even sheet for people to utilize to go into, to understand what their income is like and how to be able to like utilize that system with knowing how to start utilizing the method of making your money work for you, right? Even if you have just a little bit of money, you know what I'm saying? You can figure out ways to be able to make this money work for you. Because a lot of people do it all the time, right? And there's stuff that's in the system that we don't know about that we could utilize to be able to get funds or, you know what I'm saying, start working for ourselves and things like that. So we all know the reason why we going into this financial literacy here. That way, you know, we could change our lifestyles. We could change what we got going on. Because right now, we're doing the regular 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 12 to 12, and so forth. You know, we constantly working these jobs, right? We're doing what my sister said to me a long time ago, you know what I'm saying? She's tired of making somebody else's dreams come true. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or tired of being the person on the back end who's doing all the hard labor while the next person living a dream, you know? So to be able to change that, we got to understand some things. But first, I just want to go into a quick couple of scriptures real fast because, you know, we deal with this all the time as Israel. You know I was dealing with this recently for myself personally. So I had to think to myself before I start reacting or commenting and saying things abruptly, you know, without calming myself down, you know. Dang, what's the word? Anyways, but before I react abruptly, before calming myself down, I need to think, right? And get my mind right. So the first scripture I want to go into is Proverbs 25 and 28, right? Proverbs 25 and 28. You want me to read it, King? Because I know.
I got it.
All right.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 25 and verse 28. He that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
Right. So just like how a city can be easily ran over or taken over, that's the same way your spirit can be when you allow certain things in life to happen to cause you to respond in a way where it's like you got this anger and things like that. You know what I'm saying? You allow that's an easy way for Satan to be able to infiltrate on you and then to start picking at you at each and every little thing that you do, you know. First, it's going to start off in one little thing, then it's going to turn to another thing and another thing after that and another thing after that, right? Then next thing you know, just like that, he got you, right? So we got to be mindful about stuff like that and control our own spirit, right? And then give me a Proverbs 16, chapter 16 and verse 32, Wabba Kashan.
Yeah. So, like, if I may add on to though,
Okay.
it's this movie. It's on Tubi. It's free if you get a chance. It's called Nefarious, and it goes
Mm,
to this dude. He was a prisoner, but he's possessed by a demon. So,
mm,
dude goes in and he's interrogating them and things of that sort. And he gets to the point saying, like, how do you even, do things like this? And he says, shit, it starts when y'all are little. We take something as small as, lying or stealing, and we attach ourselves to that. And then it just keeps on growing and growing. So just like the brother was saying, a precept to kind of go with that as well, too. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 14. It says, for the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. For the corruptible body, meaning our body, presseth down our soul. The earthly tabernacle weigheth down the mind that muse upon many things. So burdens can be activators to press down your spirit. Your physical burdens can press down your spirit because now you're not thinking about praying, etc. It can be, and all these are as demons talking to your mind, and you got to reclaim your mind back and your thoughts back from these things.
right.
But I yield without getting too much into Salaki.
No, kind. Hey, that was a good point for real, for real. Because like the brother said, it don't gotta be just anger. It could be something as simple as it could be lying, it could be stealing, it could be manipulation, any of those things. You know what I'm saying? These are certain characteristic traits that we could pick up on and start doing and get so familiar with doing things in the way that we do to where it's like second nature. And then we ain't even thinking about it, right?
What you said.
Um the other scripture real quick, I could read it. It's Proverbs 16:32. It says,
So,
he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Right? So I'm gonna read it again. It says, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Right? So you gotta think about it. Like a person that's slow to anger, I would talk about my brother all the time because my brother, he is one person, if you was to have a conversation with him, he gonna take his time, you know. And I thought for a long time, I'd be like, man, bro, why are you talking so slow? You know what I'm saying? Like, we could talk regular and stuff like that. But I'm like, to actually sit back and think why he's doing that is because it's like, for him, it's like a processing thing, right? Like, he's processing in the moment, like what he might respond to say. Because you could ask him something that's serious and he could give you a response and turn around and come back and be like, you know what, bro? I thought about that. I don't think that's a good idea. So instead of being in a place where he always saying, I told you the wrong thing, that wasn't a good idea, he just be like, mm, yeah, Chief, I might have to get back to you on that one. If he can't give me an answer, you know what I'm saying? But for utilizing that as an example, that's how he would take his time, being, you know what I'm saying, slow to answer. Or for another example, being slow to anger, right? Because you got people out here who getting mad. You got the generation right now, it's the YNs, right?
right.
These young boys, are they slow to anger?
Yeah, at all.
You know, I just seen a video somebody posted on social media where this dude, you know what I'm saying, he bloody, ain't got no clothes on. They
Uh,
got, they got him in the camera, holding guns up to his head, like
right.
saying he the op or whatever, and this is live on social media. This on Facebook,
Hmm.
you know. hitting him with the gun and all kind of craziness, being these they so-called tough guys and everything like that.
Right, that part,
Like,
right,
where this same energy when, brothers and sisters come up missing? Where this same energy when, you had these lynchings that happen or these injustice shootings that happen in our communities, right?
right,
Where the energy at towards that? Like y'all put so much energy towards your own people,
right,
you directing it the wrong way. Now, I ain't saying be that way and do that same behavior against the other nations. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying, oh, do that on social media crazy or whatever like that, but put that energy to a better place. Like
right,
we need to change that mindset for real, right?
right.
We need to love our brother, love our sister, you
Mhm.
know. Like, of course, we gonna have conflict with each other and we gonna have problems because we gotta fix what's been broken, right?
Right,
Being like fixing that is being slow to anger, right? Forgiving your brother, showing them mercy. You know what I'm saying? Because these young boys that's doing what they doing, they don't know. The Most High is showing you mercy. If you make it past 25, the Most High has showed you mercy.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it definitely is key.
God,
I seen something the other day, man. It was like an ex warlock. Don't know how true that was, but he said he was one, so I take it at face value. But he was saying that unforgiveness causes cancer. And
mm,
he was just saying how it festers. It's a good breakdown. I'm gonna put it in our chat video, and we might speak on it more. But
God,
unforgiveness, though, you know what I'm saying? It holds on to. It takes a lot of anger and a lot of energy just to be mad, upset, to hold on to certain things. Um,
facts.
and it's just like even when you get upset or you worry too much, you kind of can feel it in your body, you can feel it in your chest, your
Mhm.
stomach. You just it's just a whack feeling. But also keep in mind Mark 11, chapter 11, verse 25. It says, and when you stand praying, forgive if you
Right,
have against any, that your Father also, which is in heaven, may forgive you your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will the Father, which is in heaven, forgive your trespasses. So we can't be asking for one thing. We don't want to forgive somebody else, but then want God to forgive us. So we just got to keep that in mind. Clothed with
God,
humility. Humility got to go on under that armor. But I
God. Hey, appreciate it, man. But yeah, man, before, you know, uh, I ain't gonna turn it into a Thursday night class or, a normal Friday Bible study. I got the brother to smile. All praises, man. That's what I'm talking about, right? But so back to the topic at hand. Why teach financial literacy? Right? Why are we doing this? Again, to change Israel, to change what's going on. We've been doing we've been doing the gatherings and we still going to do the gatherings, right? We've been doing the camps and we still going to do that. We've been doing the videos, the classes, the talks, the debates, whatever it is, and we going to still continue to do that. I started doing this and was like, we need to add something else into the infrastructure of Israel. Because if we go and build as a nation, we go and rebuild and everything like that. Like we don't, we can do that here. You know
right,
what I'm saying? Not saying when Yahushua come, well, just wait till Yahushua come back. It don't mean we can't start right now. This can be this can be a catalyst on bringing us together as a community, starting this right now. This can make us better, communicate with each other, love each other better, and all type of things, and be able to do business with each other better. You know what I'm saying? By starting this right now, right?
right.
So last week we went over a few things. I believe we went over like financial aptitude. I talked about how we're going to address we're going to look at assets and a liability breakdown, like, you know what I'm saying? So you can see that. Um, but I'm gonna go into these other ones and I'm gonna get through this, try and get through this. I would say maybe in about an hour, right? Because I know the people ain't on, so there ain't gonna be as much communication other than with the brother's desire, you know what I'm saying? With the king over here, as much as he can anyway, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but we gonna go into this. So why schools don't teach this? Why do schools not teach financial literacy for real? Right? Why is that? You know, and I know that y'all probably gonna watch this video later, but that's something, you could think about. Like it's a real question. Why don't schools teach financial literacy? Right? Because you got academic education versus financial education. Those are two different things. The academic education is what we got right now. You know what I'm saying? You get the math, you get the reading and writing literature, you get history, you get science, and anything else after that, right? So you get all of those things to get acclimated so you can get out of school, go to college, find what career path you want to take, get you a degree, and then pursue that career, right? But what about the financial educational side to it? You know, like do we get taught about taxes in school?
Very little.
Very little.
Mhm.
Uh, do you get taught how to utilize a checkbook?
Uh, I don't know if they have it anymore, but I had a class like that when I was in high school.
I
They,
had a class like that myself. I ain't even going front. I did,
think they got rid of it though, but that's just speculation.
right? Do they teach how you can work for yourself, how
No.
you can do your own business and things like that? Because the thing about it is the academic education mixed with the financial education, that probably it could possibly change a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. Are there going to be people out here who just be like, I'm gonna go get this job and I'm gonna work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. But you got people out here who have desires, they have dreams, big dreams, they got huge imaginations, you know,
Right.
they can they can input infrastructure and different things into this world to where we could be on a different type of plight. Like I hear a lot of stuff right now. If you're on social media, you hear a lot of stuff about over there in China. They phones is different. The way they uh the way they gather electricity, right? Not just solar, but they actually got like a floor system or something. Yeah, on the streets. So it's like people that's walking around like busy New York, right? People that's walking around all the time, they hitting these pressures, which these little pads or whatever, they produce electricity surges that go back to whatever, the generator, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? To be able to produce electricity. Where that at? Where we at with that?
And Salaki also too, their algorithms are a lot different. Like on TikTok, they show a lot more young people with achievements and goals and
Hmm?
scholastic, feats and things like that. And ours is ass shaking. Excuse my
Yeah,
language.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, nah, you right.
It's
It's
bad.
true. It's dancing, you know what I'm saying? Girls twerking and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they doing. To them, they like, see, they focused on being the next big thing as far as like the money side of it, right? When it's like you ain't thinking bigger than that, because you're gonna become into a certain age where it's like, are you gonna have the same type of following of sitting back here twerking videos when you, you know what I'm saying? Like them knees, you hear me? Them knees
All right,
gonna keep giving forever.
what you said.
Like straight up. So, uh, with that being said, why schools don't teach this? Most schools teach you to be an employee and not an owner.
All right,
That's the way the academic system works.
all right.
Like you're supposed to be an employee out here, right? Like, oh, you just supposed to work for such and such and everything like that. The goal is to get a job, get a good job, you know what I'm saying? be there for however many years, uh, hopefully get you some type of pension, 401k or whatever like that set up, so you can retire after 30, 40 plus years or whatever. And then you're supposed to live off of that in the end. Where I hear too many stories about older people going back into work just to be able to, you know what I'm saying, make whatever ends meet, you know? So that's something that we gotta change up. Like we don't wanna be in that position anymore. Like, so we had to change that mindset where as you've been working at your job, like I've been doing what I've been doing for 8 years. I like I need to change my goals where it ain't gonna be another 8 years. I need to come up with a 5-year plan, right? And start executing something in the first year, you know what I'm saying? Or something in 18 months. That's going to change my trajectory by the time I get to year 5. Because to go another 8 years, that's 16 total years. Then I'm going to be whatever close to my 50s and things like that, talking about, trying to retire. Like, what?
Right.
Why do that when it's like you can change the trajectory of your life where you could retire yourself, or you could retire your spouse, your mate, right? So most schools teach you to be an employee and not an owner, and they tell you they give you that good grades mentality. Good grades mentally teaches you dependency, not financial strategy. Think about it. The good grades mentality teaches you dependency and not financial strategy. Because when you get a good grade, they like, good job. You excited about that. That's good, right? You accomplished something. That's like you meeting a goal at the job. Oh, they was supposed to do 200 units today. Y'all did 300. Good job. That was your good grade. They didn't teach you financial strategy, like how to be able to get to that goal a lot faster, or maybe implement something that they're not utilizing so they can double that goal. So you could change your position. So you're not over here being the worker bee. You're not the employee, right? So it's like you can be educated but still financially ignorant.
Yeah. What you said though, is a big difference between educated and intelligence.
You
And
feel me?
whether it be, just regular intelligence, financial, just life experience, etc. It's a big difference.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference between being educated and being financially literate. Being educated is like what we know now. You know what I'm saying? We know how to wake up. We know how to do a resume. We know how to talk to an employer to be able to set you up for a good position for whatever position you apply for, to be able to get a job. You know what I'm saying? We educated, but are we financially literate? We are dependent on the employer to give us the job so we can make money.
Right.
Other than that, what's before that? You know what I'm saying? What, the streets?
That's just tough.
You can't do the streets, right? Because you're not a doctor. Your doctor is the drug dealer
Pretty
with a
much.
with a card, with a certificate, a certification saying I could prescribe you these drugs, right? You're
Right.
not that guy.
Right.
He get caught, he go through some different stuff. You get caught, this type of stuff you gonna go through. You gonna sit in jail, sitting back here talking to whoever, Shalom, brother. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Brothers be getting into fights, like blah, blah, blah. Like the stories, I hear these stories all the time, and I'm like, they sound the same. Like you can't look at brothers a certain kind of way. If you look, you like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta nod a certain kind of way. You can't, oh, what's up? You got yes, yes, yes. Or so, like it's weird. It's weird.
A whole different way to communicate.
You know what I'm saying? And you definitely can't stare at a brother for a long period of time because if you do, you're gonna be in a battle from that.
Mhm.
So you not the doctor. You're not the you're not the pharmaceutical, you're not a part of the pharmaceutical team. So we got to switch it up. We got to do something. We could take the skill set, like the mental skill set we learned as far as that hustling mentality, and we could apply it to something, right? But we got to leave the rest of it elsewhere. You know what I mean? So one of the words I got here that we're going to go into is financial literacy. What is financial literacy? What's the definition of financial literacy? Right?
Did you want me to pull it up, Cap?
Yeah. If you can, if
Bear
you
with me.
can,
One
I'm gonna
second.
let you read that definition, and then I'm gonna read the definition from the Rich Dad Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki, what he said.
Okay. Let's see. Financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively use financial skills, including personal finance management, budgeting, saving, investing, and debt handling.
Mhm. Facts. So the same way that it's written there, more eloquently, the way Robert Kiyosaki broke it down, he said the same thing, the ability to understand how money works and how to build wealth. That's exactly what he just read. It's just in a more just in a more, yeah, yeah. It's curated, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He kept it simple.
All right.
We want to utilize financial literacy so we can see how money works and how to build wealth. And how to be able to do that, we got to understand some things, right? So a question to ask that I have is, were you ever taught how to file taxes, buy assets, or invest in school? None of that. See, we talked about checks and everything in the beginning, but this is different. This is talking about filing taxes. Filing, how to be able to file taxes and how to be able to understand that. Like there was something in the book that talked about, you know, uh, you have something, they have something set up as far as the tax, where not only are you paying whatever tax, um, but you have to match the employer as far as the tax. I had no idea about, maybe because I wasn't paying attention to that. I really wasn't. And it threw me off because I was like, so the same tax that the employer gives or whatever like that, we have to match it. So when they say you paying as far as your job, where it's like, they taking like in your job, there's a 7.5% tax that they take. It's more than that, right? So I'm gonna read one. It says the number one expense for most people is taxes. Many people think it's income tax, but for most Americans, their highest tax is Social Security. And then as an employer, it appears as if the Social Security tax combined with the Medicare tax rate is roughly 7.5%. But it's really 15% since the employer must match the Social Security amount. See, a lot of people going to hear this and be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is why you got to pay attention to certain stuff. You know, I was just talking to somebody about electricity and gas because I used to provide the door-to-door service with selling gas and electricity. And I'm like, I used to sell it this way, but then once I learned better, I started to do better. And then I started teaching customers what was up. And that's the reason why I got good at it, because I was able to, the ones who wanted to listen, I was able to teach them, so I was able to retain, as they would say, retain, meaning like I kept them as a customer through the activation process before their next bill came out. So I got paid for that. You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing. He's telling you the Social Security amount is 7.5%, right? And the employer has to match that. So it's not just 7.5%, it's actually 15%, which you know what I'm saying, as far as that employer, what they got to pay as far as tax. Because they put tax on everything. If you are able to understand that as far as the taxes, that is one step getting closer to that financial freedom as we talk about, right? To be able to gain that financial freedom. If we know how their system works, then we know how to work it like they do. They know how to work the system so well. We sitting back here looking at them at what they do, and we like, like, yeah, I don't like Esau neither. Esau, Ammon, Moab, like none of them. But you know what's crazy? Like the brother brought up, I'm saying, Chinese, Moab and them, I'm saying, them doing certain kind of things, their algorithm being different from us. They setting their kids up in a different type of way. Right now, if you go on the social media and you look up something regarding how they teach their kids in school, they teaching their kids at very young ages to cook, to be able to sustain on their own and all kind of stuff. So by the time they become an adult, they straight. They could be pole. They could be pole on the road and somebody hand them an egg and some rice, and they gonna come up and make a gourmet meal.
I think it's like just going back and say we need a reconstruction, a foundation full of loving. You know what I'm saying? Grandmas, the aunties, the fathers, cousins, etc. But yeah,
Fact.
with that, they let the little kids, I don't know if it's Japan or China, but they let like 2, 3 year olds actually literally walk to the store unaccompanied, go get what they eat and come right back. So I feel like that's very um self-reliant.
Sufficient. Yep. And self-reliant. You're right.
On the kids, even just to learn, where to go. Now, granted, too, I feel like if we was in our land, this is off top, but we would do the same too because we wouldn't fear for our children. We got curses on us, so just
Right.
walking down the street is a whole mental episode. So, what about this? What about this? So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a year. I'm a year. I'm a year.
No. You good, King. Nah, that's a good point for real. That's getting back to the place where we need to be, where it's like we love each other enough to where our young ones don't have to worry about walking down the street and something happening to them, you know, or our young ones walking down the street by themselves and the parents at home worried about if they gonna come home or not. Like we need to change that dynamic.
Yeah.
We need to change that, man.
You on
Again,
point with you on point with this class though. This is
so
definitely gonna help us a lot.
that's why I feel like this can definitely help, because it's like it can help us, which then if we take these skill sets and we start to apply them, your way of thinking going to change. How you move and how you react to things is going to change.
So,
Then how you speak to people, that's going to change. How you speak to your kid, that's going to change.
mm,
And then them growing up and being raised, they going to be able to reciprocate what it talks about in Proverbs 22 and 6. I know it's a lot of proverb scriptures.
oh, that's that wisdom. You talking good.
You know
So
what I'm saying? What did it say? It
I'm with you.
says,
Book of Proverbs, chapter 22, and verse 6, and it reads, train up a child in the way that he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
right. So if you raise up a child in the way they should go, you raise them right. They ain't going to depart from it. You raise them as far as respecting their elders, you know what I'm saying, the parents and so forth. They're not going to depart from that. I still apply the yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to people. I apply it to the brother Josiah.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? To him, his rib, to anybody that's around me, and they can be younger than me. It don't matter.
I agree.
I still would do it. You know what I'm saying? But that was my father training me up in the way I should go. Now, imagine if you train up your child and instilling that type of mental discipline, that type of mental respect for each other, and then at the same time, financial literacy. It'd be a wrap.
Uh,
You wouldn't have to want for nothing. If the employer was to tell you right now, and because I deal with whatever with my employer, if my employer look at me right now, I'm like, disposition, what we talked about, it's not going to work. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been doing this for so long. It's like I don't know what I'm gonna do. But that has got to change. That has got to change. You know, I gotta switch it up. We all do. We all do. You know what I'm saying? If if the government turn up, if your retirement turn up and be like, oh, we can't provide retirement no more. Oh, government, we can't provide no assistance and stuff like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. What you gonna do?
yeah, they got it sold up.
You gotta do something. You gotta figure it out.
With that being said, too, let me see if I can find one.
Con, you got one. You got it, King.
Okay, Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 2. And it says, give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth if the clouds be full of rain. They empty themselves upon the earth, and if a tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in a place thereof, it's like in a place where the tree falleth, there should be. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the cloud shall not reap. As thou knowest not what it is, Slakia, not what is the way of the spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. So going back to the point of it though, King Solomon was telling us to,
Mhm.
have 7 streams of income because you don't know what's going to happen. So we don't want to get too comfortable. Also knowing this place isn't our rest. Anything can happen any other day or any given time. Think about how many people, what I'm saying, worked in car factories for years or, 20 years in a line and something just happened. The rug snatched completely out of them, but they don't have any other skills or they just put all their energy into this one particular job. So, we got to have different streams of income if possible, et cetera. So, but that really boils down to this in your leisure time, not having so much leisure. That's when we learning, we trying to figure out more things to add into our life, etc. But I yield.
Con, con. Yes. Yes. Con. Big facts. And the brother right, man. The brother right. We gotta change where we at right now. We gotta change the position. We gotta start implementing different things. We gotta start applying ourselves. Like there's the stuff that we desired or dreamed and wanted to do, the changes that we want to make. We got to stop talking about the changes that we want to make and actually start making the changes for real. You know, um, So something else to go into, right? Because you talk about filing taxes, buying assets, we about to get into that. Or invest, right? Or investing, right? We should definitely be investing. We should definitely, like, they got penny stocks and stuff, right? I know brothers that they utilize the app Acorns, right? They utilize the app Acorns, which is something like a penny app investment format, right? So you can invest with as small money as possible. Like, you could use small money to invest just to start getting into investing. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. I know you gotta feed your family, you gotta feed your kids, you gotta keep a roof over your head, and all of those things. That's absolutely true. With the what money that you can find under the pillow, under the foot of the couch, in between the seats, under the bed, in between the walls, anywhere, take that little bit of change that you got, whatever it is, and invest it. That's another step to take. Start investing, putting that money up somewhere to allow it to grow. Because one thing I learned is it ain't uh changing your life and get into that financial stability. It's not a quick race. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no burnout or anything. You know, a lot of us want to get to the money very fast.
Right.
A lot of us want the money to fall out the sky. They spoke about reparations. What happened? You know what I'm saying? Jake went crazy. They like, oh yeah, we all need a check, right? Even some of Jake and Israel like, yeah, we deserve that. Like, no, buddy, no. And like, I don't even know why you thought for a second when they started talking about that you was gonna have don't get me wrong, I ain't saying ain't nobody had no chances and didn't nobody get broken off nothing, because there's people that have and that's done, but there's way too many of us out here and we ain't get nothing. Ain't get a phone call, ain't get a letter in the mail, ain't get an email, text message. I got more messages from scam right now trying to get me to do this and we gonna give you some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop playing. Ain't nobody said nothing in a text message or anything talking about, oh yeah, do this, go to this .gov website for your reparations, brother. We worried about them to do whatever and give whatever to us, when it's like, in reality, what did they give us? What did they give us, Israel?
Lashes. Shit, shit is more so what they give us, like what they
You,
took.
you-
So, shit. I mean, you gotta think about it too. We're in a place where it doesn't benefit our enemy to lift up their enemy. So they know who we are. They know what's going on. So they're not gonna, grace us with the things of, financial literacy, fair shots. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you got this DEI thing going on too. That's clearly a slap in the face. So I should let you know too. Um,
right,
I mean, it's just a whole lot. So we do have to take it upon ourselves to, kind of reteach and re-educate ourselves from the things that we did learn in this Babylon
right,
system. So,
facts, right. But yeah, start investing, and we
mm,
about to get into these assets. We about to get into these assets here in a second, right?
right,
So, um, one thing is, they'll say if you can't read financial statements, you can't build wealth.
okay,
This is key. If you can't read financial statements, you can't build wealth. And like, for example, what is a financial statement?
contract.
What's a financial statement? You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna to give y'all something, right? Financial statement is like the income, the income the income statement, which is like you got income, expenses, and then you got assets and liabilities. So the income statement is more like income and expenses, right? And then the balance part of the sheet is assets and liabilities, right? So I'm gonna see if I can get this popping on the screen. Yeah. Let's see what's shaking. Can you see this?
So yes, sir. Clear.
All right. So this is an example of the income statement, right? So it talks about it. It says the arrows in the diagram appears represents the flow of cash or cash flow. Numbers alone mean little, just as words out of context mean little. It's the story that counts. In financial reporting, reading numbers is looking for the plot. So, you know what I'm saying? He's just talking about as far as like being able to read numbers and everything like that, right? Says the story of where the cash is flowing. In 80% of most families, the financial story paints a picture of hard work to get ahead. However, this effort is for naught because they spend their lives buying liabilities instead of assets. Here's an example. Said this is the cash flow pattern of a poor person. So you got your income, right? And then you got these expenses, taxes, rent, food, transportation, clothes, etc. Netflix, Hulu, HBO, Stars, Tubi, you know what I'm saying? What else? The drink, which, you know, we talk about food, but you know what I'm saying? The drink, the alcohol, the smoke, whether it be weed, cigarettes, Black and Miles, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your vice is, that's all expenses. You see the balance sheet where it's assets and liabilities, there's nothing there. They don't even have there's not even a liability that's taking money out, right? And this is an example showing the cash flow example of a poor person. Now let's look at the example of a middle class person. So you got your income here, then you get the expenses, which is taxes, mortgage payment, car payment, credit card payment, school loan payment. What are the liabilities? There's the assets are blank, but you got liabilities here. So you got mortgage, car loans, credit card debt, and school loans, which this is a lot of us. A lot of us deal with stuff like you got a home, you got mortgage. If you got a car, you got a loan you're dealing with. Especially, you know what I'm saying, if you took money from the bank or anything like that, that's money you got to pay back. You got credit card debt because you was like, you know, oh, I can get a credit card. Somebody said, oh yeah, get a credit card. You know what I'm saying? You can use this money. It's gonna do whatever for your taxes. It's gonna be able to get you that car. You got the car. You use some of the money from the credit card or whatever, but you also had to use whatever money from the bank to be able to do whatever as far as a loan and stuff like that. Now you got credit card debt and you got the bank loan debt that you in. So you got to pay the bank back. And then you got school debt because you went to school. You know, you did your 4 years in college to get whatever bachelor's, associate bachelor's, master's, doctor's degree, and you got to pay back your student loans. No assets, none, right? Now look at this. He says this is the cash flow pattern of a rich person. So you got rental, the income comes from what place? Not just work, rental income, a dividend, interest, which could be something that you've invested in, or royalties, right? Then you get assets. What are your assets? Your real estate, your stocks, your bonds, your notes, like bank notes, stuff like what I got. What's that one thing called? It's a see, I'm gonna have to look at it real quick so I can tell y'all what it is. It's real. Check this out. It's called da, 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 da. I got two things. One, my sister told me to get a money marketing account. Then I got a CD, and I got a CD because um, a CD. Somebody told me about this like almost 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Somebody told me what a CD was, right? And I'm sure there's some of Israel know what a CD is. Some might not know what a CD is. CD. So a CD is called it's called certificate of deposit. It's a type of savings account that holds a fixed amount of money for a fixed period, earning a fixed interest rate.
Hmm.
That sounds crazy, right? It holds savings holds a fixed amount of money for a fixed period, earning a fixed interest rate.
Hmm.
It's essentially a low risk way to save money without a guaranteed return, but with limited access to your funds until the CD matures. So, for example, I got a, let me think of how long this plan is. I got a 9-month plan, right? The rate is supposed to be 3 point something for almost 4%, right? Which is supposed to be pretty good. That's what they said. They're supposed to be pretty good, you know. But in that 9 months, in that time period, the money's supposed to grow. Now I could do one or two things once that 9-month term ends. If I don't do nothing with it, it'll basically it'll go back into a whole nother term. You know what I'm saying? At whatever rate that it is. Or I can take money out, or I can reinvest it on a different term depending on what the rate is. It could be for a short term at a higher rate or a long term at a high rate. And just keep reinvesting it like that. That's one thing that you can do. That's what I mean as far as like switching things up, investing. You know what I'm saying? What they talking about here, where it's like I'm trying to do something to create assets for myself or create assets for kids, right? I may not have no kids yet, but I would love to have kids someday. Most High willing, He bless me with some kids. I'll be able to leave them with this information and the knowledge to utilize, right? So well, what was it? Notes, intellectual property. And we're gonna talk about that too. Intellectual property. I heard this term and I was thinking about, what is that, like smart real estate? No, it's something different. Intellectual property is it's something that we utilize and we do when we start getting into our own personal business. Like, I'm gonna use an example. Adawan Yonatan, he has an intellectual property. Matter of fact, I think he got two intellectual properties for real. I believe so. One would be his music. Two would be A Time After Forever, the book he wrote. That's an intellectual property.
Like American House.
You know what I'm saying? Because that being a product that's out there, like the music or the book, he's making sales on it without even having to do nothing too much, right? Like I'm promoting it right now. You know, somebody get on and they see this class, what are they going to do? They're going to go check it out, possibly buy it. What does that do? That puts money back into his pocket, right? And then look at if you notice in the income statement, the income box is bigger, the expenses are little, and the liabilities are little. The expenses are little and the liabilities are little. All right. So you got taxes and mortgage payment, and then you got in the liabilities, the mortgage, which that's what it's talking about. You got consumer loans and credit cards. But the assets that are coming in, excuse me, the assets that are coming in, they're able to cover that. So the income that's being made, it's just more money that can be invested into the assets. That's going to cover expenses and liabilities, which is going to then what? Put more money in your pocket and then leave more money to yourself. See, look at that. All praises. The brother brought out, you gonna make me want to go grab mine.
But
You feel me? It's a great book. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got one, go ahead and grab it. A Time After Forever. Yo, that book is worth every penny spent.
it's not too expensive.
It's not expensive. It ain't a crazy long read. You know what I'm saying? It's good. And then if there's something like questions that you have, please believe when Adawan Yonatan is on the class and you got a question about the book, he can answer it for you, right? So this is a quick breakdown as far as the income statement and the balance sheet, right? And I kind of went into as far as like cash flow patterns and everything like that, right? So because we see here as far as the cash flow pattern, I think there's another little breakdown too that shows some more as far as cash flow patterns. Is it this one? So this is showing something as far as like again, like a weak cash flow pattern where it's like there's no too much as far as like income money to hold. There's nothing in assets to hold. It's mostly expenses and liabilities where money is going out from. So this is an example that he gives of his poor dad's financial statement, where it's like you got income, expenses, right? And that's pretty much even. The assets are super low and the liabilities are super huge. Whereas we could see whatever money that's coming in is going to whatever the liabilities are, which are the expenses, where there's no money to go into the assets. Where in the rich dad's financial statement is he got his income, which he has income coming from assets, which makes his income box bigger. And the expenses, because he generated enough assets to bring more income to cover expenses and liabilities. That's the reason why these boxes are smaller. You see why this is good to be able to teach financial literacy? Like the visual picture of this, like take this visual picture of what's going on here and what we're talking about and utilize this. This is why I gave that sheet, and I'll reshare it in the chat again. This is why I gave that sheet on the break even sheet, right? That's exactly why I did that. Hold on. It's, I mean, uh, 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 let me see.
You good, Cap, too. Also remember too, even though we going into this and everything is on point, and I agree with everything too. Just remember, uh, still contingent on certain things. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 33. It says, "But seek ye the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." So don't stress yourself out about it or whatever. To ultimately shoot, chase the Most High. He already know what you want in the logic. So.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. And in everything, though, this is being taught, you know what I'm saying? Utilize this, but the Most High has to be at the forefront of everything.
Sure.
Period, point blank. You know what I'm saying?
That's a reminder for everybody.
Kind. Uh, um, so this is the important part why I put the break even sheet in there to know the difference between passive income and residual income. You know the difference between passive income and residual income?
Passive, you make it while you sleep, or you're pretty much not doing nothing. Hence, real estate, books, music, etc.
Mhm.
And what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Residual income.
That's just kind of. I think it's just what you make. You just what you just take off the top.
Bingo. That's it. So with the break even sheet, it breaks down everything as far as like the money that you bring in, the expenses that you spend, and the money that you have left over.
So,
That is your residual, like what's left over to be able to do what, right? The assets, the assets concept or the assets that we're talking about in here, like putting money into assets to be able to generate income, is where the passive income method comes into play. Like the brother said, you're making money while uh uh like it says income earned with minimal ongoing effort. Like you ain't working hard to make the money.
all right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the money is working for you. Because you either invested it or you put whatever time into whatever as far as your business where it's like it's generating, producing sales. Like you just go in to make sure whatever this is going right and running whatever kind of way and stuff like that. And then boom, you know what I'm saying? You can go spend time with your spend more time with your family, spend more time with brothers and sisters. You ain't doing tabernacles for a few days. You doing tabernacles for the whole entire tabernacle time period. You ain't keeping uh you ain't keeping feast of dedication for a couple days, or we just linking up for a couple of days. Nah, we keeping feast of dedication for the whole entire time it lasts. We keeping the feast days for the whole entire term time they last for, instead of for the short period of times, because we got to go back to the employer. We can't take all this time off, blah blah blah. Nah, we got that time. This is why I'm going into this. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so it's important to know about stuff like, for example, I believe we spoke on financial reporting. Like, what is financial reporting? So financial reporting is tools that show the truth about your finances. That's why I brought that break even sheet into the chat. And like I said, I'm gonna bring it again. Matter of fact, I might have two of them. I might have one that I used back when I was doing door to door, which is pretty much the same. It's similar. It just might be there might be a couple more to it. I think the one that I put in the chat is pretty good, but I'm gonna put it back in there again. But financial reporting is tools that show the truth about your finances. The reporting part is showing like what you're doing, like what your money's doing, what you're spending it on. Like right now, there's ads on social media where people are walking up to people saying, they're asking them like, oh, if you can guess what this is, we'll give you this $100 or something like that. And then they're like, or they'll say, if you can guess how many subscriptions you have, we'll give you this $1,000 or something like that. And they'll be like two or three. And then they go into an app on their phone, which shows people who have like 20 or 30 different subscriptions that they paying for, but they don't even know it.
Mm,
Like you got money that's going elsewhere that
mm,
you're not even keeping account of it.
mhm.
And we all doing it. We all doing the same thing.
Stuff why that budget is needed to see what's going out, what's coming in.
That's why financial reporting is key. Being able to know what's going on with the money, because the money that is being utilized, where you like, oh, you paying bills and you taking care of whatever finances, but you can't figure out why you ain't got enough money for something. You know what I'm saying? That's money that can be utilized for what you need it for, or utilized to be able to invest or put into those assets. So you got to start financially reporting. You know what I'm saying? Financially looking at what we got going on and reporting it, like analyzing it, writing it down, seeing where the money's going, seeing what's happening with our money flow, right? They got free templates to track your own cash flow and balance sheet monthly. There's apps right now to be able to do that. You can Google this stuff. I chat GPT pretty much any and everything for the most part. The reason being why I say that is because, well, it was before Google has that new AI like chat GPT stuff going on. But I was doing it because, I would search it on Google and it's like you got so many different searches that pop up and it's like you got to click through and sift through information just to get what you trying to get out of it. Where as ChatGPT, they just going to give you a source of information pulled from every different source from the internet, from Google, Yahoo, Bing, anything. You know what I'm saying? So there's templates out there to be able to use to be able to financially report, right? Then you gotta, once you get past that and you start, you know, getting the money, because like I'm gonna use an example. I'm gonna use me for an example. Like years ago, before I came into truth and everything, I was drinking a lot, I was smoking a lot, I kept money. I kept some money, you know what I'm saying? I kept some money, but I was doing a lot of smoking and drinking. When the Most High brought that spirit on me that cut off the smoking and the drinking, like cut down, because all of that changed. Like when the smoking went, the drinking changed. Next thing you know, I had money that I was like,
Yeah, where this come from?
the money that so the blunts I was smoking, the cigarettes I was smoking, all of that, and all of the different drinks I was drinking, all of that, I would have had all of this. Like if I would have been doing that in my 20s, where I would be right now, who knows? Who knows? To be honest, I probably would have blew it on, you know what I'm saying, cars or something crazy, just cause, we all do it. Shoes, clothes. I ain't getting no Jordans. I probably would have had a fleet of Pumas or something. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, but you never know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But once you get into that place to where it's like, you change and you start you get the financial reporting down, you start to see what's going on with the money, you start to move things around or change things or stop the flow of money wherever it's going out unnecessarily to bring it back to you, then you can get in protecting and building assets. You know what I'm saying? Intellectual property, you know what I'm saying? And those things would be can turn around to start taking care of expenses, right? But there is something that you must know, right? Because not all assets are physical, some are intellectual. And that's what we was just talking about, the intellectual property. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, right? Because the intellectual property, which is already talked about, right? It ain't got to be just books, right? It could be ideas, creations, of course, books and stuff like that, brands, like a brand name, you know. I would give one, but it's something that me and my cousin was talking about and came up with. I can't give that out. But it's just like I had a brother put on one of my t-shirts one time, DOTG, when I came into the truth. Brother's like, what is DOTG? Defenders of the Gospel. You know what I'm saying? That's a brand. You can YouTube right now, type in Defenders of the Gospel. I bet you something come up for some Christian church. I guarantee it. I already looked it up. I tried. But I ain't care. I was like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be the true defenders of the gospel. You know what I'm saying? About Shimon Mashiach Yahushai.
Some of my shot, I was shot.
You know what I'm saying? So you got brands, you got inventions,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got the monetization. The monetization is where it's like, you do whatever as far as social media. You get
Right.
your niche on social media and things like that. You know what I'm saying? That's an income. There's people that's chilling right now. My uncle in the kitchen right now, he's laughing, watching YouTube or TikTok. My bad, TikTok. My uncle in there in the kitchen cracking up, watching TikTok.
Mm.
He spent a lot of time in the kitchen watching TikTok videos.
Not to eavesdrop or get nosy. I'm looking at local news.
See what I'm saying? He's looking at local news right now, but he watched TikTok. Believe it or not,
I got two, but
he got the news on and TikTok on at the same time. Come on, man.
I ain't mad at him.
he go on and maybe he come inside. So,
I don't know about the rest of that, but you know what I'm saying? The TikTok, the news, yeah. Um, but yeah, not all assets is physical, some are intellectual. Again, you got ideas, creations, brands, inventions. And in an invention, it doesn't have to be a physical invention. Like I've thought about stuff to where it's like it's creating an invention, an app that we could utilize on in the App Store, like in a Google Play Store or in the Apple App Store, in a game that people would play. I would tell y'all the idea, but I'm not gonna do that yet. I ain't gonna do that just yet. You know what I'm saying? I might give a hint. You know what I'm saying? It has something to do with Spalding. That's the only piece of information I'm gonna give. The only piece of information I'm gonna give them my idea. Because I got this huge elaborate idea in my mind on what this can be that could be utilized in the App Store or on Google Play. And if it's done right, it could possibly turn into absolutely nothing. For real, it could turn into nothing. But it's something in my mind, I'm like, it's huge, it'll be great, but it might not be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Who knows?
Be a failure, but a try.
Exactly. Don't hurt but to try. You just gotta try it, right? Um, so some of the examples we talked about, like books, you got music. Music is an intellectual property, right? That's something that's not physical for real, for real. Well, not too physical, right? Depending on what you're doing. If you a singer, rapper, and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some physical. And if you make beats, I make beats, you know what I'm saying? I'm pushing buttons, doing this. You know, there might be some mental, physical I put into it, but nothing too crazy. You got designs, it could be art, arts and crafts. um my sister do crocheting. There's a lot of people that's doing crocheting that you can see on social media. I've seen some sisters out there crocheting. They make full body clothes and stuff like that. Like for real, for real. They get busy. Uh there's digital courses you can do, right? You could do that. Uh for example, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the book, right? That's the intellectual property. You know what I'm saying? And it generates income while he sleeps, just like A Time After Forever, right? You know, so that's something y'all can think about. Now, I got something else for y'all, right? Here goes another thing. Do y'all know anything about let me stop this real quick. What y'all know about ancillary expenses? You ever heard of ancillary expenses?
Okay.
Ancillary expenses are hidden or additional costs tied to assets or businesses. For example, insurance, maintenance, marketing.
So hence if you're doing, truck driving, your maintenance to your truck, things that gotta come out, for
That's
your contract,
auxiliary expense.
pay your crew, fuel, things like it.
Mm-hmm. Like if you got a crib, you got a house, you got to pay property tax, you got to pay mortgage, and whatever else as far as the amenities with having a home, or repairs that you got to do as far as a home. That whole thing, roofing, siding, drywall, flooring, pipes for sink, electrical, anything, ancillary expenses.
Okay, right, tracking.
You know what I'm saying? These are things where it's like we look at like, oh, just the regular expenses. Well, they got a word for it, ancillary expenses, right?
Oh, that's
This goes with the other keywords that we was talking about in the last in the first video, um, in the first class that I did, and some in the first part of this class, right? So we're just continuing that because these are things that are need to know. They're need to know so we know what's going on, so that we know how to move, we know how to operate. When something happens, boom, we know what it is. Oh, that expense coming out, oh, that ancillary expenses. I know what's going on, you know. Now, there's an expense. Now, how is it getting paid for? That's the question. Is the money coming out of your straight income that you had to do whatever and work for, or is it coming from the asset that's coming back to you, which is part of your income? You know what I'm saying? Which covers that, so it don't affect whatever other income money that you got coming in. Because you can have, like, I can work my job. I'm supervisor in flood mitigation. That's my little income or whatever. I got assets, you know what I'm saying? But I got bills. I got a car, you know what I'm saying? And whatever else. I got a home and all of that, you know. What's paying for that? My income. I switch that up where my assets come in. My income is all my money. I don't gotta like I could put that away and not do nothing with it because my assets is covering all my home expenses, my car, whatever, my phone, whatever I watch and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So all that money is mine, right? So that's why I'm like, that's why I'm bringing out this whole all this information. You know what I'm saying? To be able to help us out, right? Um, so here goes the strategy, right? The strategy is to minimize liabilities and reoccurring costs while building high yielding assets like IP or real estate. That's the key out of all of this information, right? Minimize liabilities and reoccurring costs. How do we minimize liabilities and reoccurring costs? First of all, we got to be able to identify them. Financial reporting, we're identifying it, right? We're identifying what it is, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And then once we identify it, then the next step is how do we minimize it so that way we can build the high yielding assets and IP with like IP or real estate, which would then cover liabilities and whatever reoccurring costs. Because once we switch stuff up, one thing that's going to happen is once we switch up the flow where it's like this is the liabilities and reoccurring costs, we recognize what's going on here. Now we switching it and we building to where it's like it changes that pattern where it's like, all right, first it's not just going to flip like this. It's going to be like, all right, you found out, now you're going to do some assets that meant that liabilities and reoccurring costs, it went down some. Then you found a medium where it's like, all right, now we meet eye to eye. So the assets are covering the liabilities and reoccurring costs, right? Next, you know, you like, you know what I'm saying? I figured out how to be able to do this with this asset thing. Like, now let's get to hustling, right? Now we about to make it flip. How we talk? Double up. It's time to double up. It's time to triple up, fam. Right? You flip it. Now the assets is up here. The liabilities and reoccurring costs is down here. And whatever assets is going on is bringing money, generating money into your income. That's not including whatever you're doing outside of that. And there's assets, there's enough money in the assets where it's covering it. So now you winning. And then what that does is that changes your time. And we've heard about this a lot of times. Like, your time is important.
Right.
They literally work us 8, 9, 10, 12-hour days, so you don't have time. Imagine what you could do if you change that.
A lot.
Like, come on, man. You can spend more time with, like I said, the family, brothers and sisters, and everything. Like we would be more happier as brothers and sisters because it'd be like, we just got time to do whatever. Brother be like, yeah, man, I'm getting ready to blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. Hey, what you think about if we join you and make it a family thing? Oh, for sure, brother. Let's do it. Like, we need to be making them type of phone calls. Not just gathering for feast days. Hey, real quick, man. Grab Zephaniah 2:1, Bible Cashapp. I think that's what I want. Yes, that is what I want. I don't think that's that. Matter of fact, that's what the Most High want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do it whenever you want it. It's the book of Zephaniah. Slide here. Chapter 2, and verse 1, and it reads, gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation, not the desire. Slide.
Right? I talked about this beforehand. When did it tell us to gather together?
When?
When?
Well, it never said really a time. So I think this will be perpetual.
You feel me?
Yeah, this is
Like,
on.
come on, man. We have taken the mindset of, like, I spoke about this before. We have taken that mindset of we going to gather for the Sabbath, for the new moon, for the feast days. And then outside of that, it's like, what else?
Right. Shit, not too much of nothing.
You know what I'm saying? But what's going on in our lives where it's like we can't even think about gathering for anything else outside of that. Why? Because we're putting so much time into doing whatever, working with Esau's system that he done created, and we ain't figured out the method to be able to work and beat what they created. Like, we done beat everything else they done thrown at us, right? But this thing, it's like we ain't even trying to beat it.
All right. All right.
That's why I'm like, yeah, Israel, let's get into this for real, for real. Because this is going to be a new, we got to do a new method. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something brand new. Ain't going to stop teaching classes, not going to stop doing camp, not going to stop gathering for feast days or nothing like that. Nah, we just going to implement something brand new and switch everything up. Beat them at their own game, right? They can gather together when they want to. You got these other nations going on vacations for 2 weeks easy,
All right.
having a good time and being like, hello? Yeah, I'm just calling. Yeah, we're doing good. Yeah, I'm watching, Tanner and Chad. They're out in the waters just playing and stuff like that, throwing water at each other. We're having a great time here. But I was calling just to say, we're gonna be out for another 2 weeks. Yep. Yep, another 2 weeks. No big deal. When I get back, we're just going to get back to it, keep the ball rolling. Just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing great over there. Blah, 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 blah. Have a good one. See you when I get back. Click. Now it's a whole month vacation. And they're enjoying whatever, having a blast. And you can't even fathom that in your mind. A week vacation is like something, right? A week vacation. I took a 2 week vacation, almost 2 weeks. It was about 10, 11 days or something like that. It was close, but that time, have no idea what it did.
Right. Mentally, physically, all that.
Feel me? Like it did something to me to where my mind started thinking like this. If I go on vacation again, I don't I don't ever want to do a week vacation for real.
Right.
I want to do 2 weeks or better. If I get on the airplane again, I don't want to fly economy plus for real, for real. I want to I want to fly first class.
Mm.
I want to be extra comfortable. Like people be extra comfortable for real. You know what I'm saying? That sounds and that sounds a bit excessive. It does. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's not the point of like wanting to be better or wanting to look whatever, right? It's wanting to do better, wanting to apply something to where it's like I change my lifestyle. I change my whole life for real. And if the Most High got his hands into it, then it's going to happen. Yo, I want us to be Israel where it's like, uh, shoot, we got our own plane line. We got our own plane, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That $4 got to start.
You feel me? Or if we don't own our own plane fleet and stuff like that, right? Then we could travel and the plane just be filled with just us.
Makes sense too.
Make the other nations have to hop on a whole nother plane. You feel me?
It got to be something that got to be reconstructed. Because I mean, shit, we the most. I want to say we the most the highest spending party technically out of everybody. So that money going somewhere.
It's going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Which if we do the proper financial reporting, if we analyze and figure out, which this ain't hard, you know what I'm saying? A lot of it going to stuff like unnecessary stuff, shoes, hair, makeup, nails, clothes, cars, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me, I ain't saying you don't wear no clothes, don't have no shoes, but do you got to buy the brand new J's that come out? I
Every
seen
every drop.
I seen some all black, was they fours or sixes? They some all black joints that's supposed to be coming out. They look hard. I don't buy Jordans, but I know Shaquat do, brother. Don't go get them J's. Don't go get them. You don't need them. You don't need them. Like the shoes that you got, they ain't falling off your feet, brother. You know what I'm saying? Sister, the hair, the wigs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it's called, the yaki, all of that stuff. I don't know. You know what I mean? You don't need it. Don't go get it. Is your hair hard to deal with? Absolutely. Hey, my hair hard to deal with. I ain't even gonna sit back here in front. I be washing my hair and I be in the most awkward, unorthodox position doing all of this. Neck be hurting, back, shoulders be hurting, arms be hurting, and I still be out here like I gotta do it. I gotta get it done so that way somebody can do my hair or whatever. Unless I get somebody to wash it for me, which don't get me wrong. If my sister could, hey, I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? If she can. But yeah, man. Uh, but yeah. Minimize these liabilities, got to minimize these liabilities and reoccurring costs. You know, the miscellaneous spending is reoccurring costs.
Sloppy.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta change that, right? And then
Granted, too, though, if you do take hold in something like that or whatever, it's a catch-22 because it can be something productive or lucrative, but you gotta be in the mindset of that. So if you collect shoes, repurpose them, resell them, or you take old shoes, you can restore them. Everything could be turned into a business, especially if you like something like that. You can turn into a business, but most of the time, we're not even really taught to think business mind. It's just like, shit, I like this. I'm finna stunt, or I got that because we're deprived of things, growing through our life.
right facts, and you hold on to great point, brother. Refurbish it, resell it. You may not get the same value for it. You might not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that can make you something.
Yeah, it ain't it. Of course, if you take it out of the packaging and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Of course, it ain't gonna have the same value. Now, it's one thing to be like that. You could be the different person that decide, all right, I'm gonna get if now I'm about to really make you think different. Whatever exclusive J is about to come out, you gonna get a pair. Why get one? Exactly. Buy two. One you gonna wear and the other one that you ain't gonna take out the box.
Yeah. And keep
The
your
ones that you wear, wash them, whatever, refurbish them, resell them, not a crazy price. The ones you never wore that somebody was looking to get. Come on, man.
yeah, just different ways to go about it.
You feel me? So, uh, something to look out for, right? This is one of the important words, right? So pay attention, Israel. You got the silent wealth killer, which is called bracket creep, right?
Uh,
Making and then I'm gonna tell you this: making more doesn't always mean keeping more.
hmm.
You know, making more doesn't always mean keeping more. And why I say this is because, we tend to have that money where we make more money, but we don't keep it.
All right. Push it right back out to the flow of money again.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So the silent wealth killer is bracket creep. What is bracket creep? Bracket creep is when pay raises push you into a higher tax bracket,
Mm.
right? Bracket creep is when pay raises push you into a higher tax bracket, reducing real take-home income. Huh?
Hmm. Yeah,
Why?
that's a
Why is it reducing real take-home income? All right. Check this out. Says this reads in Rich Dad Poor Dad, higher incomes cause higher taxes, also called bracket creep. A credit card comes in the mail, they use it and max it out. A loan company calls and says their greatest asset, their home, has appreciated in value because their credit is so good. The company offers a bill consolidation loan and tells them the intelligent thing to do is to clear off the high interest consumer debt by paying off their credit card. And besides, mortgage interest is a tax deduction. They go for it and pay off the high interest credit cards. They breathe a sigh of relief. Their credit cards are paid off. They've now folded their consumer debt into their home mortgage. Their payments go down, because they extend their debt over 30 years. So now you already had a debt that you was dealing with for whatever years. Now you extended it for another 30 years. Like, come on, man. Like, Buddy in here teaching straight game is fire. He's teaching you straight game and it's fire. Like telling you how they gonna set you up and how they gonna do you. Make you think you making a smart move, but you actually setting yourself up for failure. Oh, you think because you're getting a pay raise at your job, you're getting more money. No, it's not sweet like that.
Tracking.
It ain't sweet like that. Why? Because taxes go up. Slacky, give me 1 second.
No, you're good. You're good.
1 second. Hold up.
Talking about on that bracket creep, talking about the taxes going up, but you ultimately still kind of not making nothing. So it really puts a heavy burden on you.
Yeah, man. So you gotta pay attention to stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
You gotta pay attention to the bracket creep, right? It says more money seldom solves someone's money problems. Intelligence solves problems, right? They said there's a saying a friend of mine uses over and over to people in debt. It says if you find you have dug yourself into a hole, stop digging.
Seems simple.
You know what I'm saying? Keeping it super simple, man. Keeping it super simple. That's why I'm like, I like this read for real, you know, because he got pictures and everything to it, and I'm a visual person, so that helps me. That's the reason why I pulled up the income and balance statements and stuff, you know, so people can be able to see it visually to understand better, like, oh, this is how you work it. If you're living in a poor state, this is how your money is flowing. If you're living in a middle class state, this is how your money is flowing. If you're in a rich state, this is how your money is flowing. Or you know what I'm saying? This is how you want your money to flow. Right. So yeah, bracket creep, uh, uh, making more doesn't always mean keeping more because you get the bracket creep that happens, right? The more money that you make, the more taxes you gotta put out, right? So, again, like I was talking about, which Robert Kiyosaki in the book and Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about it. Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about it. He says rich people use assets and corporations to avoid bracket creep, not higher salaries. Hear that? It says rich people use assets and corporations to avoid bracket creep, not higher salaries. So now he's giving you the keys to be able to avoid the stupid stuff, right? It's why I'm like, that's why we talking about like what we need to do to get into the flow, right? What we need to do to switch up our game, right? We got to invest. We got to get some assets, even if it's small. Listen, a penny is good enough. 10 cent, 25 cent is good. It's a start. The point is to get you, you know what I'm saying, to get you going. Now, where you go from there, that's on you. If you decide to keep on, if you say, I'm going to do a penny for every day in a year, what is that? $3.65 for real? You know what I'm saying? So you invested $3.65 a year. That's cool. If you up it and you change it, or you're able to do the proper financial reporting and find out where money's going that you could utilize and stuff like that, you know, you could put that money, you could use that extra money that was being taken without you knowing, and you can apply it to investment or whatever project you got going on, so you could put towards an asset or an IP, an intellectual property, so you can generate that income. So we could switch things up, you know what I'm saying? Instead of looking for a bigger salary from your job, you know what I'm saying? You getting assets going with assets and corporations to avoid stuff like bracket creep, right? So we gotta learn how to legally structure our income using businesses, investments, and tax strategies. We got to learn how to structure our income using businesses, investments, and tax strategies. What is a business? Something like an IP address, whatever, you know what I'm saying? A book, whatever, intellectual property, that type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Or it can even be real estate, something, anything, right? It's going to help as far as it's going to avoid the bracket creep issue, right? Investments avoids bracket creep. Tax strategies, learning certain tax strategies. If you learn anything about the taxes and how the tax system work and how to be able to switch stuff up, you know what I'm saying? You can avoid taxes. When you're getting a certain amount of money and there's money that you have to put out towards taxes, there's things that you can do to pay less in taxes. It talks about that in this book. Literally, it speaks on all of that stuff, right? So we need to learn how to legally structure our income using businesses, investments, and tax strategies. And then, I would say for the next class, because we're going to be talking about chapter 3, but in the beginning, you know what I'm saying, I suggest to learn one new asset. We could talk about this from the rest of the chapters. So I think it's 9 chapters. So it's 6 more to go. Wait, 7 more to go, because it's chapter 2, right? Learn one new asset class this week, whether it be stocks, real estate, or IP, etc. You know, me, I'm probably think about something as far as IP. I know a brother like the brother Banyamian, he knows something about stocks. You know what I'm saying? If I can, I might bring him on just to talk to the people about stocks and looking at the stock exchange and looking at the those sheets that he look at and knowing the difference between stuff like a candle and all kind of stuff like that. Because there might be somebody in Israel who will catch on to what he's talking about, to where it's like it'd be able to help all of us. The brother Josiah, he could go into something with real estate and know something about real estate. You know what I'm saying? Where he'd be able to bring out information for us to help us out as far as like how to properly go about investing in real estate and what we need to do, buying a low income family type home and stuff like that, and how to be able to invest back into it, rebuild it and everything, and put it back in the market, flip it or rent it out, Airbnb, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I'll probably see if Adawan Giannisson can do it, you know what I'm saying? He get on the class and talk about you know, his book, you know what I'm saying, intellectual property, right? So some takeaway tips I would say is wealth equals time plus assets. Wealth equals time plus assets. All right? Because to be able to get to that wealth, you got to take the time to be able to come up with what your niche is or what you're good at to create those assets, that income, which will generate in wealth in time, right? Then we need to understand and build our financial reports. Understand and build our financial reports. To understand and build our financial reports, we got to be able to break all that stuff down. as far as like what's going on, like an auxiliary expense, like stuff that's going out that we need to be able to acknowledge or see where money's going, the liabilities, the expenses, you know what I'm saying, the unnecessary spending of things, right? And then think on in terms of ownership and not employment, right? We in the employment mindset because that's what we've been taught. You know, I'm as old as I am, you know what I'm saying? And all I know is employment. So I need to think about ownership. Even if it is something small, that thing can change to where the ownership that I got going on can be the actual income of me working. Where it's like, if I lose my job, it ain't gonna hurt me none. Because whatever I got going on as my business or whatever that I own, it's making the income to replace that job, right? And then use intellectual property and smart structuring to reduce tax impact, right? So for an assignment, so they have an assignment, right? An assignment Israel can do is to track your personal income expenses, which y'all already did. Assets, track your income expenses, assets, and liabilities this week using the basic worksheet, which that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? That was the break even sheet, which we're gonna go into that. We're gonna go into that the next class. You know what I'm saying? When we go into chapter 3, right? And I would say Israel to, if you have any questions or anything after seeing this, ask any questions, leave comments or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Drop any information that you possibly can on the video, so we can, so the next class possibly bring out anything somebody asked or be able to answer any questions anybody had about the video, But is there anything you got? Is there anything you got, King? Brother?
No, sir, off the top of my head. No, sir. Excellent information, though.
Kind. But that was my lesson. So, real quick, can you grab Daniel 7:18?
So I definitely can. Give me 1 second.
Baruch Kasha. I hope y'all enjoyed the lesson, Israel. And definitely stay tuned. Watch all the Monday classes. If you on Bible study, hop on with us. Thursday classes, Friday classes, you know what I'm saying? Sabbath morning brew, you know what I'm saying? Be on the classes, man. And definitely come back and tune in when we go into the rest of these chapters of this book, so we can get to that financial freedom that everybody is wanting, you know what I'm saying? Or that mental freedom that we want from this thing, right?
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. By Shema Mashiach Yahushua.
By Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Khan. That was the class, Israel. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Shalom.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, 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 black music, black music, black music, black music, black music, black music.